Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome once more to Reedsy Live. A very special, well, every one of them is very special, but today we have another one of our live writings. Your opportunity to join us to do a bit of creative writing at our own pace, but with the added incentive of being surrounded virtually by our fellow writers. We're going to start in just a few minutes, so why don't we make ourselves comfortable? Let us know where you're coming from today. My name is Martin. I'm from the team here at Reedsy. I'm based in the UK, up in Scotland. Today I'll be joined by one of my teammates who is also based in the UK, but she is an American. Which I know very many of you are, and Canadians. Of course, Sally Cleland from Regina, Saskatchewan, welcome. We've got Jessica from Rochester, New York. Good to see some familiar faces and some new ones as well. Sorry for the confusion. I had accidentally set this event on YouTube to start in 2 hours. I think even after however many years, I do throw myself sometimes with the 24-hour clock system. Joel Manuel Mael from North Carolina, R.L. Platt from Maryland, Lance from Durban, South Africa, Jacqueline from Michigan, Emma Smulders from the Netherlands, someone from Texas, JJR2, JJ Robinson, the second, I imagine, Nigel Code. Yep, Nigel says he's bought someone from the colonies. It's, I guess, after Independence Day, the moratorium on old empire gags is over. And we should be continuing as such. Mary from Spokane, Washington. Lauren from Norfolk, Virginia. Margaret, also from Scotland. Hello, welcome. And Camilla from Liverpool. Fantastic. Good to see so many people joining. So this is not quite the same as some of our previous write-ins. Before then, I've had guests come in and we have a bit more of a formal chat with someone who's been published and has a bit more experience as a professional sort of creative writer than I have. But today, yeah, we're just going to be enjoying each other's company, sharing sort of our own foibles and adventures in writing, and I'll be happy to answer any questions sort of related to Reedsy and sort of share what sort of knowledge I've picked up over the years. But yes, we are now coming to the top of the hour, 7 o'clock where I am here in the UK, which means it's like 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 11 a.m. On the West Coast. If you're joining us pre-lunch, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But yeah, let me please introduce my guest coming all the way from London, England, by way of Northern California. Savannah, Cordova. Is it Cordova or Cordova?
Wow, great that we're figuring this out now.
Yeah, after
Cordova.
many years of knowing you.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's different from like the Spanish town pronunciation. So yes. Hello everyone. Very good to be here. Nice to see you all so active in the chat.
Great. So yeah, Savannah's been part of the Reedsy team for very many years. She joined us first as a winner of the Reedsy prompts contest back in its real early days, and yeah, entering and winning that contest could have been the best or worst thing that's happened to you, depending on how the day catches you.
The
Yeah,
best, of course.
yeah, Savannah, tell us yeah, tell us a bit more about yourself. How have you ended up in the UK, and yeah, as a sort of writing person, as a sort of literary fan, where do you sort of sit?
All great questions. So yes, I'm from Northern California originally. I saw someone before is also from California. Maybe a few others will pop up as well. And yeah, basically, I studied abroad here near on 10 years ago, and met my partner in a pub, and ended up getting married and moving over here. And the timing was very serendipitous because I also obviously was like looking for work over here. Reedsy, as some of you guys might know, is entirely remote, but also has a pretty heavy UK presence. So I moved over here in 2018, had just entered and managed to win the short story contest, which I believe is a lot more competitive to win now. But yes, was quite pleased with that, quite excited. And yeah, through that, ended up finding an internship at Reedsy. Eventually got hired full time and have more or less been here ever since. And yeah, in terms of where I sit in the literary scope, definitely more of a short fiction writer. I know that previously Rebecca was on. She's obviously written some like proper novels, and a memoir now that's forthcoming. I'm strictly short fiction. I did attempt to write a novella during the pandemic. It went okay, but it won't ever see the light of day. But yes, I will be working on a short story today, as I imagine some of you also are.
Oh, wonderful. So, yeah, this is how it will sort of work out. The idea is that we are going to go on a number of writing sprints. I will set a clock, and in that time, we shall write as best we can, uninterrupted. If you have a work in progress, please feel free to write on that. You can use it in your thing. We don't need to share it, so there's no need to submit anything. If you want to share a line that you enjoy or your progress within a certain sprint, please feel free to. If you're stuck on what to do, let me please share with you some of the features that we have available here on Reedsy. In the video description, there are some links to some of the sort of inspirational resources we have, starting with our weekly writing prompts, which is taken from our prompts contest. You can scroll through that and find all these writing prompts. You can select perhaps a genre or a style. Here's one that's, you can look for something that's all dialogue based. Whoops, there's all my email addresses. You can have genres where it's set in middle school. You can have something, you can get ahead of your Thanksgiving writing and do a Thanksgiving theme one. If that's not for you, we have, of course, our plot generator. All non-AI. This is incredibly manual. There's an entire spreadsheet full of loose random artifacts and words that you can use to generate a character, a secondary character, plot, etc. We've got another database of short story ideas that we have been pulling together from over the years. Another one, which is a book title generator. Yet again, this is another one which is very much manual. It's sort of yeah, assembled from lots of components, so no AI here. But yeah, feel free to dip into any of those if you need a little bit of inspiration. Savannah will be working, as she said, on a piece of short fiction, and I am going to be trying my best to continue scripting some YouTube videos. If you haven't noticed, I've started doing video shorts and longer videos on our YouTube channel, which is a good reminder for you to like and subscribe to this video and channel for more great content and to be the first to know whenever we're doing little events like this. So glad to see so many of you with us right now. And if we are all ready, oh, I've got some music, so this time we don't have to tolerate the sound of keyboards. Savannah, I've got 4 choices of music. I've
Ooh.
titled them. These are all royalty free. The Ambient, Moody Cello, Soul Bowl, or Spacescape.
Oh boy. What was the first one again?
The Ambient.
I mean, that seems like it would be a crowd pleaser. I'm also intrigued by Soul Bowl. I don't know about cello, maybe not.
We've got 3 of these to go through, so don't worry. Sally Cleland says, is there a specific link on the page we just demonstrated? Yep, it's all in the video description. If you just go through there, have a look for our creative writing prompts, book title generator, whatever you will have there. Okay, so I'm going to start the music, set the clock for 15 minutes. So we're doing a 15-minute sprint. I shall deactivate our microphones, but feel free, anyone, to share any things in the comments, and we'll see you on the back end of 15 minutes. And that brings us to the end of our first writing sprint. How was that for you, Savannah?
It was surprisingly good, actually. I will admit this is the first writing sprint I've ever done, and I surprised myself with my ability to get into it. How was it for you?
Actually, pretty good. I decided, yeah, to just sort of free write. So sort of a bit
Mm.
about a guy who just walks out of his house and doesn't stop until he hits the ocean. I got like, yeah, a few hundred here. If only I had been writing it in the Reedsy studio, I know exactly how many words this was, but it's pretty productive. How was it for everyone at home there? Jessica says, whoops, let me get rid of the things. Didn't write much, got caught up in a bit of research. Fair enough, that happens to the best of us. My character ended up in a Denny's, which I went to in America, so I quickly had to check how much a moons over my hammy costs. Maria says surprisingly productive. Uh, Baza did a 1,000 word short story, very rough but done. Amazing, that's great. Gordon says, "Yeah, what is the music? It is from YouTube's royalty-free or cost-free selection. There actually are a couple of artists I think who upload their stuff for free that I use a lot in the videos. I should actually remember their names. But for this one, I think one part of the title was the ambiance. We shall be dipping into a lot of the others afterwards. Doreen, 74 words. That's 74 words you didn't have before. Emma, 350 words, incredible. Any amount of progress is good. It's all about building this habit. Jacqueline, writing a short story, picking up where they left off, did about 500 words describing a storm on Lake Huron. Excellent. LL Graveyard Shift is editing a new manuscript. Very cool. Melina, wish it had the beginning of a piece they've been working on, but they'll piece it together later. Wonderful. So, yeah, if you've just joined, you may be confused, but we are, in fact, this is a writing. This is Reedsy Writings. We're members of the writing community, perhaps who have signed up to Reedsy's newsletter, joining us, and we're doing a small handful of writing sprints where we working on a work in progress or taking a cue from one of our inspirational sort of idea-inspired resources that you can find in the video description below. Nadine just started a new novel, added 500 words to the first chapter. Jules added about 600 words to the novel's second draft. Good to hear. Yeah, well, in between here, like, yeah, everyone like to tell us sort of how they do prefer to write. Do you do it freehand? Do you use a particular piece of software? Yeah, anything. Just tell us. Yeah, what sort of thing do you write on? Oh, our friend here got a Reedsy prompt started. Fantastic. If it's one of our current ones, you have a couple of days to submit it potentially to win a. What's the prize these days, Savannah?
$250, I believe.
Oh my god,
And
$250.
I apologize if I'm wrong. No, yes, that's the prize money. So if you
Cool.
get further
Also,
with that prompt, definitely worth entering. Sorry, go ahead, Martin.
no. We've got a bunch of Scrivener users here. Deja is writing in Reedsy, their first book. Patches uses Dabble. Fantastic. Pages on Mac. Yeah, anything would pretty much work. LibreOffice saving to Google Drive. Let's say freehand and Word docs. Cool. If you're not familiar with it, Reedsy has indeed its own writing app that I'm going to say out here pretty much does most of the stuff that Scrivener and all those guys do, but the core features are absolutely free. People mainly use it to format their books, but there are great little like, well, how do you describe the features? We've got these goal features.
We have a number of different features and a couple of different plans, but yeah, as you said, the core features, which we consider to be the most important, are all free. So you have writing and productivity goals and deadlines that you can set for yourself. And obviously, all of the editing and formatting features. As you said, it's really, really good for formatting if you then want to export and publish some version of a book. Professional authors use it all the time for that. And then in like the tiers that we have, which you can pay for, but they're not too expensive, we also have like outlining features. So we have boards that people can use to plot, which are a bit more organized than Scrivener, and also forthcoming are like specific templates for different story structures that you'll be able to use if you need a bit of guidance.
Oh, Nathan here uses Word 2016. Was that the peak of Word software, or was that the last time they let you use software without having to pay a subscription for it? Maria knows the score, and another Maria. Oh my God, Reedsy Studio is popular amongst Marias. Storyboards. Yeah, well, we call them boards, but really they're little note. Think of it like a sort of corkboard, and you could put all these notes on there. So we have people who use it for, yeah, if they're mapping out their plot and structure, or if they have a list of all their characters, they can put them there, and then you can pin them to your writing space while you actually do your writing there. But yes, cool. This is enough of a sort of mercenary plug for Reedsy Studio. Do check it out. It's absolutely free to give it a try. And yeah, do let us know what you think. Zena Patel loves Reedsy Writer because it makes formatting so easy. God, we just I realized as soon as I started this, we were just basically fishing for Reedsy compliments. But really appreciate you guys sticking around. If you haven't already, please do consider giving this stream a thumbs up before we enter the next of our writing sprints. Which, yeah, we might as well do now. We'll maybe have a bit of a Q&A if you've got any questions. We'll sort of look to answer them in the next break there. Oh, Hanifa, what are we doing here? Well, we are here doing a write-in. We are participating in writing sprints. So in about a minute, I'm going to set a clock, put some music on, and we're all going to work on the, on something. We're writing something. We've got our own little windows open. So if you're working on a manuscript for a book, you can work on that. If you want to do a first draft of a short story or free write, this is just an opportunity for us to just get some writing done. What's that? Ken says, never used Reedsy stuff before. Recommended, I suppose. You bet it's recommended. Cool. Well, do check it out. All right. ST Gardens, welcome. You're late, but we're just in time for our second one. So, Savannah, do you want Moody Cello, Soul Bowl, or Space Escape?
I want Soul Bowl next.
Okay,
Being
we're
decisive.
doing Soul Bowl. I'm going to do another 15 minutes, and we'll see you shortly. had not noticed that the time had been up. Uh, cool. Fantastic. How was that for you, Savannah?
That was pretty good. Yeah, I think I wrote about the same amount, but was more focused in the session. How about yourself? Did you continue with the man walking into the sea?
I can tell, yeah. Well, he had breakfast at a Denny's, but after that, I found myself sort of starring at some questions, responding to stuff in the comments here. Ibrahim had another 150 words, fantastic. But we do have some questions here. Um, oh, Jackie has a question about Reedsy prompts. There's a prompt to write about someone who self-publishes a story that was never meant to be read. Can it be a podcast about a story that was never meant to be shared? Like you're more involved with a lot of the judging. How strict do we tend to be on sticking closely to the prompts there?
We do try to stick to, yeah, sort of what the prompt says while also leaving it up to interpretation. So it does say self publishes and read, which would give me pause about fully endorsing using this prompt for a podcast. Um, I would say if that is the road that it is taking you on, still feel free to write that story. I cannot guarantee that it will qualify for the contest just because it says self publishes and never meant to be read rather than listened to.
Yeah, it's not we're just being pedantic. I think as more and more people join, we have to start making. Yeah, we have to sort of start checking for a lot of things, so making sure that it's not something that someone maybe had in their back pocket for a year or something that closely matches to the prompt. And
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
imagining AI is turning into a bit of a nightmare, but you guys have a process for that.
We do indeed, yes. So don't even think about entering an AI story in the contest because we'll get you. Um,
I mean,
but no.
it costs $5 to enter, so feel free to enter enter your AI stories and pay your $5. But we do have a way to sort of root them out.
Mm.
Colette
But it's a
has
good question.
150 words using Reedsy Studio for first time and needed to set up a new chapter. Oh, very exciting. Jenny loves these sessions. They're really good. Yeah, Atana asks, yeah, really enjoying these writing sprints. Are they a regular thing? We're going to try to make them a regular thing. Seeing as it makes it easy, we don't have to book a guest for it. So we're going to try maybe do these about once a month, so long as there is an interest and let's say we have at least 150, 200 people turning up, then I'll say this is a worthy use of our time. Summer says that they've compiled their short stories, 18, from Reedsy Prompt and now published. Congratulations, amazing. Very exciting there. Maria asks, do we have any Italian editors to check their book? I actually went and had a look at the marketplace during the break there, and I believe we only do support English here because it's really tough for us to actually monitor and review how our freelancers work in Italian, because we do have Italian speakers, but we don't necessarily want to go through it. However, if you just sort of type Italy into the search, you'll see editors who either are from Italy. I think Federica is Italian, but based in the UK, working primarily in English. And then we have a handful of editors who may be American or from an English-speaking language, but live in Italy, so are supposed to have some experience with the language there. Okay, but yeah, just head to reedsy.com. You can browse through thousands of qualified editors and book cover designers and marketers, and see if they sort of fit your needs. Let me go back to here and see if there are any other questions. Rick Hughes. On total word count, my first manuscript is 82,000 words, and my current one, not finished, is 85,000. Savannah, is this too long for publishers?
I would say it greatly depends on the genre, because obviously some better suited to a lower word count, some obviously like epic fantasy or something like that. Yeah, here we go. Suited to, in fact, a much higher word count. But I would say for most genres, that does land squarely within the acceptable range, does it not? 85,000. So no, not too long.
85,000, I think, is nice and short. The thing that you want to do, like staying within the sort of genre expectations, sort of gives an indication to the publishers, the agent, that you kind of know what is expected of the genre. Once you become established, then you might go like J.K. Rowling, George R. R. Martin does like 200,000 word things, but once you're successful, you could do pretty much whatever the hell you like. But from a debut author, the bigger your book is, the more expensive it is to edit, to produce, to churn out actually, however many pages, 400, 500 pages. So sticking within that, yeah, 85,000 for an actual novel, you pretty much won't go wrong, regardless of what genre. I think, yeah, it should be as long as it needs to be, but yeah, that at that level, you're fine. Once you start tipping over 100,000, it's often time to reconsider that. Let's see who else here has a question. Vizzy, Reedsy said, I want to join a writing community where I can get help and feedback from other writers for my writing. Not to get overly promotional as well, but I'm going to take you back to this. We have the sort of new sort of proposition that we've had for a while, Reedsy Learning memberships. Half of it is a lot of content you may have seen. We have sort of live conferences, so we're doing slightly longer events on publishing, on writing. Sometimes they're sort of 4 or 5 hour whole day things, as we call them, or shorter ones that last an hour where we bring on guests. But on top of this, you'll join a sort of forum, sort of community there where there are regular critique circles in there. We have exclusive masterclasses each Monday. You may have seen our live editing sessions. Those are a regular part of it. It does cost to become a member. I think it's $249 for a year. However, you will have access to a forum of, I think, quite motivated writers, and also some of our professionals will be lingering on there to help answer questions every now and again. Okay, let's see if there are any other questions here. Let's see, everybody. How difficult is it to enter already written material into the Reedsy app? Back to the screen share. I'm so glad you're asking all these correct questions. Let's see, this is the Reedsy thing here. Let's see if I go to my bookshelf. All you really need to do is hit import and upload docx file. I did that for this Scandal in Bohemia one, and it pretty much turns up formatted, as you see here. Like a book has got the indents on there, so you get to see it kind of pretty much as a reader would there. Let's see. Back to everyone. Thanks for the tip about word length being an expense factor for the unpublished novel. I just got a contract for a novella, Bev 100,000 fantasy novel in the drawer. Submit to the same publisher. If you got a contract for that one, I would say, do you have an agent? Because sometimes they will sort of go through the same as well. And depends on, I'll need to know a few more details, Isabel. Like, what's the publisher? What's your sort of relationship with them? Are you going through an agent? A lot of questions there, but it would bear thinking about. Because my concern is, if you've got a contract for a novella, is it with a vanity press, perhaps? Because very often that is the case. Isabel, what's the name of your publisher? I could sort of have a look through and see that. 1,000 Great Books says they clean their room during the sprint. Hey, productivity is productivity. The more time you spend cleaning your room now, the more time later on that you can put towards writing. Let's see. Is there a genre dealing with fictionalized memoirs? It's called the novel. So I think a lot of novels are written in the form of a memoir. Anything that's sort of first person, one could argue, in first person past tense, is a fictionalized memoir of sorts. Indeed, there's a lot of metafiction. Savannah, can you think of anything that sort of is obviously sort of fictionalized memoirs, or are we thinking autofiction, perhaps?
Yeah, I was going to say autofiction would be like the more specific. I don't know if I would call it a genre, but would be like if you're writing something where you've changed like just a couple of details, but 99% is what actually happened to you. That would be autofiction. But of course, there are also, a good number of novels where people change more details and it's like definitely based on their life. Wouldn't necessarily call that autofiction, but
Yeah.
yeah, plenty of novels are based on people's lives.
Yeah, the autofiction bit I've seen. Yeah, we've had one in our sort of work book club where looking at the author's background is very obviously based on her life, but I think she's changed some details just to allow for a bit of to condense some bits and to take some liberties and to maybe, I don't know, have that sort of sliver of distance between her real life and the fiction to make it palatable, perhaps. Uh,
Hmm.
oh yeah, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, classic autobiographical novel. But yeah, it
That's a
was.
good one.
It's a definitely, yeah, a memoir. But all good memoirs I think should basically be written like novels. They should be compelling. Um, oh yeah, there was the guy who pretended to be patient in a mental health facility, turned out to be fiction. That was a thousand little pieces. Was that the James Frey
A
one?
million.
A
Yeah.
million,
Is
sorry.
that the one? Yeah.
And
I
then
could
Rita,
obviously, yeah. There are some memoirs that turn out to be fiction, which is quite funny.
yeah, this weekend in the UK, the Salt Path, which has been a massive success. I think I've got a copy of it here. Actually, I've got a copy of her follow-up book, which I imagine is also fabricated. But it was a yeah, the Salt Path, massive hit over here. Memoir, a couple who went walking after losing their house, and the husband got a debilitating disease. Turns out those two crucial details may have been fudged, allegedly. Uh, but yes, I think we have time for maybe one more sprint. I think I'm going to make it a 10-minute one. Uh, okay, so music choices are now remaining Moody Cello or Space Escape.
Oh, should we try the space one for something different?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit on the creepier side, but I'm going to put 10 minutes up. Yep, of course, writing sprint. Feel free to, yeah, just write, and we'll have a bit of a wrap up at the end. And away, we, sorry, Spacescape, go. Whoops. I keep getting so distracted. And this spacescape music is lulling me into complacency. Amazing. Cool. How was that last one for you, Savannah? Oh, just wait. I had muted you.
Oh,
Continue.
it was good. I think I'm going to continue with the story even after this broadcast is done.
Oh,
So,
nice. Yeah. Anyone at home? Yeah. Have you started anything that you think has a bit of promise? The answer doesn't have to be yes. You can. This is all very disposable or something that you can continue. Uh, oh yeah. Sheila says didn't actually write. Had formulated in my head. Normal. Lol. Panther. The first chapter. Short story for Friday. Almost done. Excellent, Maria. The Marias are doing well here. I've got some questions here to maybe have a look at before we go. Let's see. Freyland says any other platforms for free feedback, and I know that someone else mentioned, Rebecca mentioned, that they've got some good feedbacks on submissions to Reedsy prompts. As mentioned, you're sort of in the coal mines of Reedsy prompts. Seems there is a good community there who seem to provide feedback on short stories very often.
yeah, people are super active in the comments. So you enter a story, and I believe you can enter to not be in the contest and still get feedback on your story just from people in the community. And yeah, particularly uh, those that enter a bit earlier and tend to get approved a bit earlier. Even if they're not shortlisted or win, like people from the community will still come in and take a look and leave some great feedback.
Yeah, and it tends to also be quite nice if you go back and feedback on other people's ones as well, because they'll click
Yes.
through onto your profile. It's a sort of this virtuous circle we find. If yeah, one as with most communities, you shouldn't just parachute in and go like, "Please give me feedback, me." Like it's always best to go there, be helpful as possible, and yeah, you will be rewarded for this. Let's see what else is here. Leah says, if you want to adapt a novel to a screenplay, should you contact the publisher or the writer? Um, for screenplay adaptations, there tends to be a process by which any sort of written book or play or something has a thing where it can be optioned. That means a production company or a director will tend to option it with the idea that they will develop it into a film, usually hire out their own writers. So it's unusual for a writer to go in and be able to secure the rights to adapt it into a screenplay. So unless you are a person of tremendous means or perhaps well connected, it is, yeah, a bit of a hard thing to do. If you want to sort of get yourself onto the radar, you can write your own original screenplays. Look to get an agent, at which point, if they like you, think you have promise, they might send you around to meetings and you get on the radar of potential production companies. But yes, one does not simply contact a writer to adapt their novel. Um, who else have we got here? Uh, let's see. I think someone also mentioned stuff about agents. Baza mentioned AI, asked about AI tools, whether it's okay to sort of have AI fill in the bulk. I think that's a big topic that I probably don't want to get into just now. I will just tell you the current temperature of AI within the writing community is it is not looked favorably upon, I would say. At this point, publishers will not touch anything that sort of has the whiff of being created by AI. It is something that poses an existential threat to the creative industries. So at some point, no doubt, we'll just be generating everything. But in the meantime, I think it would be a credit to yourself and good practice to learn actually how to do the writing by yourself. You'll be part of this final generation who will know how to string sentences and ideas together unaided. So relish that while you can, I'd say. Uh, cool. Let's see if there are any other final ones. Jackie says, great use of time. Kickstart the summer routine with 1,100 words. Fantastic. Happy to
Ooh.
join another write-in when that comes up. Amazing. Deborah says, helpful to get her back on track. You are very welcome. I would just say, yeah, if you want more of this, yeah, do. If you mention it on social media, if you send an email to Reedsy about it, basically, the more favourable you can sort of make this seem, the more we will sort of be compelled to keep doing this. I'm going to do my best to do about one of these a month as they're fairly fun, quite easy, and it's quite nice to sort of do a hangout. So yeah, any sort of last thoughts, Savannah? We are you. Is there anything that you can reveal to us about the short story you've started?
Ooh, I was wondering if you would ask me this. I am working on a short story that I started last year that is based on, I don't know if you remember that viral video of like two people on a plane where like the person filming thinks that like one of the people is like cheating on their spouse with the person they're talking to.
Mm.
Um, and it went really, I never like followed up and found out like who the people were or whatever. But when I saw the video, I was like, oh, what rich foundation for a potential short story. So I'm pleased to have gone back to it. And I'm like 2,000, maybe 2,500 words in now. And I would say, yeah, I hope to continue it.
Oh, sweet. I think yeah. My all the videos I tend to see on planes are of people getting drunk and being like yanked off of it. So this one is yeah. I see it very often. It's like yeah, to whoever out there whose husband is going to Cabo this weekend with the boys, just know that he has been cheating on you. That seems to be a popular strain.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of those. And my story is like, what if that happened to you?
Yeah.
Um, what context would people be missing? What would be the story behind it? Which I find very interesting. And I'll probably never publish this, but maybe others would too.
Ooh, one last sort of substantive question. Jenny has posted a few times. She has problem finding the connecting thread for her novel. Any suggestions? Help. Savannah, when you sort of see that, what sort of jumps to mind of sort of a connecting thread within a book?
It's another one where I would want to know more context to answer more effectively. Um, but what I find most helpful when I am struggling with anything writing wise is just to take a step back and take a break from it and then come back. And oftentimes I find that like the edits I need to make or the thing that was missing has to some extent revealed itself. So if you feel like you're too focused on like the forest for the trees or whatever it is, the trees for the
Hmm.
forest, you're too focused on the details, you might be missing the bigger picture that you're looking for. So, first and foremost, just simply take a break. And then more strategic stuff, I guess, if you can list out anything specific that the scenes you've written so far have in common. If you want to maybe like go back to what inspired you to write this in the first place, again, would want to have some more context about exactly what you're writing. But those are the sorts of things that I would try. Martin, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it sort of helps to know what you're trying to say with your book. You often find, like at the beginning of the thing, that, like novels and stuff, almost they don't all necessarily need to have a thesis, but they have something that they're about. And if you're
Hmm.
able to sort of put your finger on that, is it your characters searching for home or searching for family, or they are looking, they have their priorities wrong. You have to figure that one sort of thing. What is your character working through? And then try to look through that lens, perhaps, and that will help you see what is sort of important. And once you start putting together B stories, you actually might see, okay, this B story actually bolsters my main story here because it maybe looks at this conflict through a different side. And then it will help you see that, oh, maybe this fun character doesn't really add to the main thrust of what you're trying to do. So, yeah. Or, I think someone in one of our conferences was talking about memoirs and novels. It's like in memoirs, you try to figure out what your story is about and then craft scenes and scenarios to sort of fit that idea. Whereas memoirs is you take the events of your life and then try to figure out some sort of meaning between all those events. As a novelist, you have the benefit of being able to just make stuff up whole cloth to sort of explore an idea. So go for that. All right. I'm going to call it into this, Savannah. I really appreciate you giving up your time to join us for this writing. Hope you enjoyed it.
I really did, and thank you so much for hosting.
And everybody, remember to like and subscribe for more content. And I promise we'll be back next month with something like this. See you soon. Bye.